Okay, Jan, this is a good question. I'm going to respond via this video because I want to make sure that everybody gets this. All right, let me share. So when you're trying to decide like how much to set aside for other categories and how much to pay off your debt, it's a decision-making process. And then we're going to go to this declutter your expenses like graph. Okay. Obviously, you're going to arrange your budget so that everything gets the minimum payments, like all your regular stuff gets the minimum payments. And then when you're doing these irregular expenses, stuff like your medical bills, your dental bills, all the things that still have so much variability to it. Like you don't know when the date is, you don't know what the amount is. You can kind of go do some like research, I guess. But first, let's go through this thing. So all of the things that like you've decided you do need to keep at some, like they're not automatic trash. They either help you support your goals or you value it, you enjoy it, you like what it brings to your life. Okay. So then you go to this question, can this expense be delayed with reasonably low consequences? Okay. And if it can be delayed, basically the question is, how long can it be delayed? When you're setting aside money, the more time you have between now and when that thing needs to get paid for, the easier it is to set it aside, right? So let's just use the dentist as an example. I am a healthy woman. I brush my teeth as obsessively, like I never miss. I have good teeth, like genetically, I have strong teeth. So I do not have to go to the dentist for medical reasons. Like I don't have to go to the dentist. I enjoy the cleaning. I like the checkup. I like the habit of it, whatever. But in our broker days, I think we made it to the dentist. My kids made it to the dentist every year. I think kids are supposed to go like every 6 months. But again, like I'm diligent with their teeth. So we could swing a dentist trip every year. But because they're kids, I made sure to go every year. Me as a mom with just good oral hygiene and things like that, I think I was lucky to make it like every 2 years. I haven't had a cavity since I was 9, right? So those kinds of things, because I do other habits, because I spend money on toothbrushes and toothpaste, and I make sure that's in my habits, I can delay things like my dentist trips. I don't have any problems. I can delay it with reasonably low to no consequences. If you need braces, if you chew tobacco, if you if you're aging and your teeth are starting to show up with problems, if you have weak enamel, if you have like a history of dental needs, then you should not delay these things. Okay, so that's kind of an example. Also things like OBGYN appointments. Okay, as a woman, the recommendation is every year, but I'm only sexually active with my husband and he's only sexually active with me. Like there's no past history we need to work through. There's no STD history. There's none of that. So I can go to the OB for my regular appointments every other year instead of every year, right? So I can delay it with reasonably low consequences. I'm not trying to have babies anymore. Like I'm good with my birth control method, right? Like I can go every other year. I'm also in the younger years. So once I hit 40 or 45, whatever it is, then oh my gosh, it's like next year. I can't remember what the numbers are. Maybe it's 50, but once you start getting into like the mammograms and all the things, like do those. And then you can delay other things. Try to think like, what about, okay, here's an example. So I had a client, she texted me, Ruth, my stove just broke. Do I pull this from the emergency fund? And I said, well, that depends. Are there other things in your house that you can use to cook with? Do you have an electric skillet? Do you have, a little cooktop thing? Do you have a barbecue? Do you have whatever? And so she started processing and she was like, yeah, I actually have all those things. And it's really only the one burner is broken, or maybe two burners are broken, but I can still use the other two. Okay. So and then every meeting was like, do we need to replace the stove now? No, I can keep doing this. So she was able to get, instead of like pulling, $1,500 or $700, whatever electric just cost anymore. I can't remember. I think I know because I bought a bunch, but we'll just round it, say $1,000. So instead of pulling her emergency fund of $1,000, putting it toward a stove, she thought, can I delay this with reasonably low consequences? Yeah, I can use the burners. It's just me and my kid, I can use these other things. Yeah, I use these other things. Yeah, I go hang out with my boyfriend's house all the time. I can cook at his house too. So she ended up waiting. I think she waited like 16 months before she bought the stove, because she just kept asking the question, like, can I do this another way? So she put it through the step down, Can she delay it with reasonable consequences? Yes, she can. And then she put it through the step down. How else can I fix this problem? So, and it was to the point where she was like, I don't even think I need it anymore, right? So she was able to pay off a huge chunk of her debt load because she wasn't saving for a stove. And she still had her emergency fund. And she was looking at other ways like, okay, I don't need a new stove. I can go get a scratch and dent stove, or I can go get a used stove, or I can go get a whatever. Because she went through her priority list. It was not a huge priority for her to have a brand new high-end, top of the line, like whatever stove. She was fine having a stove if it had a little dent in the back, or if it had been a display stove, or if it had been used, or things like that. She just needed a stove to cook with. So she put it through that. Okay. So that's kind of things that you can go through. Home repairs are definitely one of those things. Stuff like home repairs can be tricky. Like some things you just don't want to mess around with. And if you delay them, the problem gets worse, like waiting to fix your roof. Okay, don't do that. Just fix it. Just fix it while it's small. Let's see what else. Trimming trees. Maybe that's something you can delay. Maybe you're like, no, it's just an accident waiting to happen. I need to put that up, right? So you kind of do an ebb and flow of like what needs to happen, maybe, and then you can pump the gas on your debt snowball, and then you can release the gas on your debt snowball. But always the practice of questioning and asking, reviewing your executive councils. This is a good time to review those things, maybe once a month. Really, really do a deep dive review in these things. You can even give each month is something to review. Like this is the month we look at this. This is the month we look at this. This is the month we look at this. Kind of give each month a theme. And then you really analyze those questions and plans. And then if you make a good plan, then you're set for a while, right? You're going to think about in the future. So I don't have to think about my home maintenance plan every month. I just do it once a year, unless something unexpected pops up. And then in that moment, I can readdress it. Anyway, I hope that this like helps. Also, how much to put towards your debt. So that's just a matter of like, well, how quickly do you want to pay it off? I never introduced you guys to, I have failed you. I ended the debt class being like, oh my gosh, I didn't cover some of the stuff that I needed to cover. I was going to make you a debt snowball or I was going to make you a debt number 2. Look, my new logo. I'm rebranding. Okay. PowerPay. Okay, I'm going to show you this. Well, I'm here, everybody. PowerPay, we use this as a tool at Utah State. They kind of like branched off it. So anyway, blah, blah, blah. I love this calculator because it allows for complex payoff situations. Most of the tools that are used for debt payoff, they're just really, really simple calculators. This amount every month, period, end of story. But sometimes it's not every month, and sometimes it's an ebb and a flow. So hold on. Let me get it for a second. It's free. Everybody can have a membership. I highly recommend it. Okay. So we're just going to come in. Oh, I don't have examples. Oh, cool. Okay. You come in and you enter the creditors, the balance due, the minimum payment, the percentage, all the things, okay? Then you just keep adding creditor information and you can move them around and it matters. Oh, yeah, see there you can like move it. And that matters when you're figuring out. So you put in all of your debtors. It's just kind of like basic information, save your creditor information. Okay, and then you can come here to extra payments. Well, first come here to Power Pay, payment calendar. This shows you your payoff. So if you just paid the minimum payments under this person's scenario, I have some calculating. Okay, well, you would go to that screen and it would show you like, if you just kept paying those minimum payments just this way, just as they are, it'll take you this amount of time. But you can come to this extra payment. So here we are on the screen. This is your credit information. This is your extra payments. And you can come in and put, okay, like, so starting December of 2024, I'll get a pay increase or something will get paid off, or I'll have something saved for, I'm not saving for my emergency savings anymore. And I'll have another $100 every month to pay toward this. Okay. And then, okay, in January, I'll have $500. Maybe it's a bonus. Maybe that's my Christmas bonus, but it's only one time. Okay. And then I think in April, I'll get $1,000 for my tax return. Okay, so then we save that. Then we again go to our payment calendar and it shows us the payoff time, right? And then you can see the strategy. So if I pay the highest interest first, this is how long it will take. If I pay the way I moved it around, like the moving it around is really good when there's a debt that just irks you a little bit more, or it's a problematic, or maybe there's it's zero interest, but it's going to go up to a really high interest. So you need to take it out of the normal lowest balance to highest balance. You need to kind of take it out of the order. So then you can use that. So calculate is entered the shortest term first. Like if you have a loan that has a year left as opposed to a loan that has 30 years left, even if the balances aren't low or higher. Okay, the loan's balance first. This is the true debt snowball method. And then without power payments at all. So if we didn't roll over, like once I paid off this debt, I used that money to pay off this debt. If we didn't roll over stuff, then it would take 6 years just by doing the minimum payments and then using the money for something else. Okay, and then you can also see like this amortization or whatever. So you can see I still done something out of. Well, I picked highest interest first is what this is. If you do lowest balance first, then you can see the payoff. This is a really, really fun tool, and I like it because again, sometimes things are they're not regular. They're not the same every time. And the one thing that it cannot do is like, let's say I could do $100 for 1 year. And then like my job changes or somebody moves in with me or I don't know, like whatever. You would just need to do it like month by month. If that's kind of obnoxious, but those are rare situations. Anyway, I like this calculator because it helps you figure out. So then you just kind of crunch and you just play around. Well, like, what if I could squeeze another $50 a month? What if I could add, what if I could use this bonus for this instead of putting it toward the other thing? Or like you could just play with the math, like how much would I save if I delayed projects or things and then paid it off and then reclaimed all that money to go save for that. So you can use this as a tool to kind of do this math and then your situations. But again, go back to this idea of, can I delay this with reasonably low consequences? How long can I delay until there's consequences? Or does delaying make things potentially more expensive? Does delaying your mammograms make you more susceptible to cancer, which is really expensive, like those kinds of things. Changing your oil, like do it. Rotating your tires, do it. those kinds of things. I think if there are cheaper habits like brushing my teeth regularly, eating better foods, exercising more, like, can I delay or prevent these expenses altogether? I hope that's helpful. Stop. Oh yeah. Quick little addition to that. Okay, so I'm going to teach you a little like thing to think about in your brain, but this can go like the other spectrum. So just be mindful. When you're like deciding what to pay first, your debt and other things, always keep in mind, like, kind of ask yourself the question when you're adding new things to your financial plan, like, would I be willing to add this to my credit card? Like, right? Like, would I be willing to put this on my credit card? And here's the like line of thought. As long as you have debt on your credit card or like this other consumer debt stuff, if it delays, if it postpones, if it like extends your debt payoff, then it's kind of like putting it on the credit card. Okay, because it's money that could be going toward the credit card to reduce that interest rate that you're paying, like to, get rid of that. So like it's sixes, like it might make you feel good, like it's not going on the credit card, but if it's taking you longer to pay off your credit card, it kind of is. Now, I wrestled with this mentality because I'm the kind, like, I get it. My body gets it. My brain gets it. So I would not spend money on anything because I had that, like, it's like putting it on student loans or things like that. So again, go to that thing about like the reasonable consequences. Okay. And then if you can't delay it, like you can't stop seeing your family and you can't stop going to the doctor and you can't stop fixing your house and you can't stop driving vehicles, like things like that, then put it through the step down. Like that's why I love this. I love the visual of the way my brain processes this. Put it through the step down. Can I still have it? Can I still hang out with my kids and do it in a cheaper way? Can I still hang out with my family and do it a cheaper way? Can I still have the home repairs or the home flip or the home purchase or the vehicle or whatever? Can I step down and still get what's important to me? Usually this means, like, it's all about the exchange of your time, your talents, your energy, your ideas. And really, I need to add like your other assets, the things that you own. Can you barter? Can you trade? Can you sell something? Can you trade something? Can you DIY it? So if your dollars are more scarce than your time or your energy, then you're going to put your dollars toward the credit card and you're going to put your time and your energy toward the other thing. You're going to start DIYing a lot of stuff or trading things. Anyway, kind of keep that in your mind. Like, would I put this on the credit card if having all these fun things and planning all these fun things, like, I want you to have that kind of a life, but I don't want you to have to do it at the cost of interest. So that's why getting that debt snowball paid off is really, really important, because you reclaim all of that money. So you kind of ask yourself, like, if I had to pay this thing and know that I'm paying 50% more by doing it now rather than after my debt snowball or things like that, like, that's kind of what you're doing, is paying 15% more, 18% more, 26% more. These are things that we don't think about. Anyway, you can go down a huge rabbit hole, but kind of keep this in your mind when you're deciding what to do now and what to postpone and what to spread out and things like that. Kind of keep that question in your mind.